Hello and welcome to the second episode of Post Fades and Cheesesteaks Top 10 NFL Players Ranking Series. In this episode, we'll be discussing the top 10 wide receivers headed into the 2020 season. We've got a new logo and we'll continue to be trying new things with our video edits. And as always, please like and subscribe, and comments always appreciated. Really looking for that feedback. All right, let's get into it. See, the wide receivers was very interesting to put together, because there were some players that I felt like belonged, and then I like took them off and nah, they're not as good as this player. And then I looked at like situations and who their quarterbacks are, and
you look at the list and I left a lot of good players off the top 10.
I don't have Amari Cooper on here because I felt like there were 10 better receivers than him.
Wow, interesting. I definitely have Amari Cooper on there. I will educate you on why you are a fool.
I think the way I look at it is like any one of these 10 receivers, if I was a quarterback in a team, like I'd rather have them than Amari Cooper.
Okay, interesting. All right, well, start us out there.
All right,
Mr. Rebel Roos.
Number 10, we have Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Interesting. That's exactly who I had.
Oh, interesting.
Wow, okay. I thought you were going to start spewing some nonsense when you said Cooper.
No, so I had thought this was the tough one because I had Godwin. It was either him or that guy from Detroit. I forget his name now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Galladay.
Godwin is a stud. He came on this year. I mean, he's a young guy.
He's got the perfect like growth for like a wide receiver. Like looking at his stats, so there's 3 years in the league. He goes from 34 catches and 500 yards rookie year. Next year is 60 catches, 800 yards, to 86 catches, 1,300 yards. So like that's incredible progress every year. So
listen. I think he's got
with Jameis Winston.
He's productive too ever since like high school. Because I was looking at this guy. You think he wanted, homegrown guy, Delaware, 2 state Delaware titles. Then he goes to Penn State.
I forgot he was from Penn State too.
Yeah, he's top 5 in receiving receptions and touchdowns for that school for wide receiver. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, he was taken in the 3rd round.
How does he fall to the 3rd round? I don't get that. He ran a 4.4 in the 40.
84th overall, yeah.
How does he fall in the 3rd round?
Yeah,
we drafted Nelson Aguilar in the 1st round, and this guy falls to the 3rd.
Yeah, I was looking through, and I was just writing down names before I looked at any stats, and I was like, I know he's like the popular name. I was like, he can't be top 10. There's no way. He got hot now, and I looked at his stats. I was like, no, he deserves it.
1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's going to get you.
That's
on
what
the board.
I'm saying. I just looked at it like he's only getting better every year. So
he did that in 14 games too, which is impressive.
Yeah, more than any Eagles receiver.
Damn right about that. That's more than any Eagles receiver in like the last decade.
So I went. So if you're done with,
yeah, that was no. I put my piece to Godwin. I was interested to see what we matched up there.
Yeah. Hopefully more matches.
I don't think we are, because number 9, I have a guy that I personally am a big fan of. I think he's a stud. Mm-hmm. I think he put up really good numbers this year. He had led the league in reception or receiving touchdowns. He had the 3rd highest reception or yards per reception.
Okay.
And he did that with a combination of Jeff Driscoll, Matthew Stafford, and David Blau on a Matt Patricia-led team, because you already know that that's not a well-run organization. Mm-hmm. Kenny Galladay in his 2nd year, I thought was a stud. I mean, he puts up numbers.
I respect.
He's young. He's good. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, I wanted to put him in, but I feel like I couldn't leave Godwin off because of his progress. And
well, I had him higher than Chris Godwin, because I mean, he's 2 years in and he just backs him up. He's got good.
Yeah, no,
he had 16 touchdowns in 2 years. That's pretty solid. He had 11 of them this year, but last year was a rookie year on a team that's not a stable source of great offense.
Yeah, I think the only reason I didn't bump him into the list is like he would have been 11 easily. But I just think I feel like Lions wide receivers ever since like Megatron have just been kind of like hard to guess. I mean, Tate was really good for a little bit, and now he's kind of like older and faded off. And I hope Galladay is consistent. Like I say, he's got the talent, he's got the numbers so far. So
I mean, he's easily the best
oh yeah,
Lions wide receiver since Calvin Johnson.
oh yeah, yeah. I like that.
I think he's a really good player. I think he's going to keep getting better. Second year guy. He did this with Jeff Driscoll and David Blau. Like Jeff Driscoll was a horrible college quarterback, and David Blau I've never heard of in my entire life, and somehow he was on an NFL roster.
I mean, didn't Stafford blow his back out or something like ridiculous? Like I forget what happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more impressive. He did it with 3 quarterbacks, and 2 of them are not household names there.
Yeah. No, like I said, I could put him at 9, but this is I put at 9 a guy that I have a love-hate relationship with. I don't really like him, but I couldn't ignore the talent. And he's got a new home now. He's going to have some Josh Allen action thrown to him. That's Stephon Diggs at number 9.
Okay. You got him as my 12th.
Okay.
He's not on my top 10, I'll tell you that.
I think he's better than Adam Thielen. I've never really been a huge Adam Thielen fan. But he's got like the speed. He's got good hands, good route running. I think he'll do well with Josh Allen as their like number 1, whereas he was kind of sharing with Thielen, I feel like, in Minnesota.
No, I agree. I think, honestly, if you just look at any team, I think that was one of the best moves of the entire offseason. They paid for him. I mean, they paid a price, but if you want something about perfect fits, like you look at the receivers he was throwing to Josh Allen, he's not a very accurate quarterback. Why are you giving him these wide receivers that are below 6 foot? The guy's like 6'5", and he's not
they got
accurate.
burners, and that's it.
Yeah, like just let him throw it downfield to a guy that can like jump up and get it, and
But who was it? John Brown. He actually had a good year with the Bills.
I think Josh Allen's a good. I think Josh Allen's really good.
I like Josh Allen. Yeah.
I think the Bills realize they need to get their young quarterbacks some weapons. That's a lot of teams are. That's how you need to win. Is you need to get your quarterback when he's young and that rookie deal. You need to give him the weapons now, and so they can go for a run at it. I think McDermott's a good coach.
I'm still rooting for him. I loved when he was with the Birds. So I like the Bills right now. I think they're primed for that AFC East, unless the Patriots can still take it, and the Dolphins have a good team. But I think it's the Bills division.
We'll say. Did you see Ed Oliver just got arrested?
No. What are every player in the league is getting arrested for something now? I don't know. They're getting bored or something.
It's like, it was kind of funny. I was who was the guy that just got arrested after Dunbar and Baker?
Oh yeah, I saw that. I forget who it is.
He was on the Redskins.
Yeah.
Drive me nuts.
But that was what was funny. I was like, who's next? And then like this guy popped up, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
But I was thinking like the Redskins of all teams had to been like looking at that, loving it. They just traded away Quentin Dunbar, and then he gets arrested, and their division rival's first round pick from 2 years ago gets arrested at the same time. They was like, they must be on top of the world. I forget whoever was got arrested for them, but then that came crashing down pretty quickly.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did you see that video of Dunbar made like a play when he was on the Redskins, and like his teammates, the celebration was them like patting him down, and they're like, "Oh, they were trying to warn us."
That's funny. I knew that.
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
I don't know. I mean, going back to, I think the Bills, we were saying, I think their defense will be good this year if Ed Oliver can show up.
Yeah, they were.
That's funny.
It was like, geez.
But yeah, I mean, Stiggs, I like to pick. I think they do good for the Bills, but who'd you go with 8?
Number 8. So I had Mike Evans.
Wow, interesting.
Do you feel that's disrespect?
I feel like that's very much disrespect.
I don't know. This is I'm telling you, this was a hard list.
Oh my God. I'm just putting this out there, forewarning you. I'm a big Mike Evans fan. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you. I'll wait my turn, but
okay.
Please inform me of how you idiotically came to this false opinion.
I also really like Mike Evans, but there's 7 receivers that are better than him in the league right now, in my opinion.
I'm starting to think that your opinion isn't very high. I'm disappointed in you. I don't know what you have in front of him, but I'll see. I mean, I put it down to Mr. Very underrated guy who I think was perfect here is Keenan Allen.
Respectable.
He's always been underrated. I'm not gonna I've never been the biggest fan of his, but you look at his numbers, he backs it up. He's got 4 seasons, 1,000 yards, very consistent. 34 touchdowns in 6 seasons. The one year he was out for a whole year, I don't count that, but Last 3 seasons, he's had around 100 receptions each, 104, 97, 102. It's a good average,
Yeah.
He's been very fortunate, I think, he's been very fortunate that this quarterback's play has been very stable and steady. I was talking about how, again, Kenny Allen had Jeff Driscoll and David Bell throwing him. Keenan Allen's only had Phil Rivers throwing to him, so we'll see what he does with Justin Herbert this year, but I thought he's a solid guy, so number 8 is where I put him.
So I'm gonna call myself out on this.
Oh God, here we go. I knew it.
I put down Mike Evans just because of his name.
Oh, jeez.
And I just looked at his stats, and I didn't know he's.
No. Let me educate you later.
Okay.
Let me educate you later.
Well, so that was your 8.
Listen, let's just put it this way. I know sports hasn't been, on pause. You haven't been on top of your game. You've been very confused. Quarantine mind's getting to you. That beard, I think, starting to talk to you too much.
Probably. So my number 7 is Keenan Allen.
Put Keenan Allen.
So I think
fucking out of your mind. Go ahead.
So this is like reverse. I've always been a big Keenan Allen fan. I think he's, like you said, really underrated. He's always put up like solid numbers, like 1,200 yards back-to-back years, 6 touchdowns. Like his past 2 years are pretty much identical. 104 catches.
I know. I agree. He gets open and catches the ball, but that also plays in with being stable quarterback. Like you have that connection. I feel like he's been benefited from that a lot.
The reason I had Keenan Allen over Mike Evans, though, was because of hands. I think Keenan Allen has better hands. Mike Evans had a drop problem early in his career, so I just think Keenan Allen's better receiving, like better with the hands.
I'm just looking at how many yards Mike Evans had in his career, and I'm thinking, he couldn't have dropped that many balls because he's got a good amount of yards there.
Well, I'll let you speak on Mike Evans when he comes up on yours. But
don't worry, we have to still wait.
They've been in the league so long that I didn't even need to look at their stats because I already had my evaluation of them in my head. So
fair enough. Sounds foolish. Speaking on your boy, I have at number 7 Amari Cooper. Now, I mean,
please educate me on Mr. Disappears from games and doesn't get put in the 4th down when your season's on the line. Amari Cooper. Let me hear how good he is.
Right. First part, there's 2 parts to that.
Okay.
There's 1, the player not being on the field. There's 2, the coach telling the player not to be on the field. Jason Garrett is not a good coach. Do you
blame that on Jason Garrett?
The guy that decides whether he goes in or not? Yeah. If my job was on the line, would I have my best pass catcher out there? Yes. But some people do crazy things. I can't speak for everyone. But, I mean, if you look at Amari Cooper, he had 1 bad year. The last year with Oakland, or that down year with Oakland. And it really wasn't that bad. 680 yards. He managed 7 touchdowns. But on a very bad Oakland team. Before Gruden got there, Oakland was not a good place.
Okay. Mike Evans was on bad Tampa teams, and he had good years.
I know. We'll get to Mike Evans. Don't worry. I'll educate you on him in a second. But if you look at, I have a theme. Like, I have a reasoning for my opinion where Keenan Allen had 34 touchdowns in 6 seasons. Amari Cooper did a little better, 33 in 5 seasons. It's very respectful. The 4 out of his 5 seasons, he's been over 1,000 yards. He's got 4 Pro Bowls. I see him as a very solid number 7. He's getting $20 million a year. I don't know if I would have given him that, but it's the market. Someone else probably would have.
I think if we did this last year, I would have had him in my top 10. But this past year, I don't know. I just wasn't impressed by him at all.
2 teams that you knew were both firing their coach the entire year pretty much. Well, after like week 6. And then after that, like, how are you supposed to succeed? How are your players supposed to play hard or do well? Everyone knew Freddie Kitchens and everyone knew Jason Garrett were getting fired.
If you're not going to give 100%, you're not going to make my list. Like,
I'd make your list.
He doesn't have great hands.
Amari Cooper, here, no, hold on. Doesn't try. Here, let's see. He had 1,189 yards and 8 touchdowns and 79 receptions. That's not bad. I'm
not saying he's bad. I'm saying I'd rather have 10 receivers that I wrote down instead of him. He's definitely in my top 15.
does that rank?
There were 29 players who had over 1,000 receiving yards. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not as big as a stat as it used to be. Like, look at Michael Thomas had 1,700 receiving yards. That is incredible. But
Yeah, but
like
wait.
Devontae Parker had 1,200 receiving yards. You saying Amari Cooper and Devontae Parker are equal?
No, because Amari Cooper has had a much better career. Devontae Parker had one
Exactly.
good year.
But I'm just saying you can't use just last year's stats to justify.
But number 6 is going to be the fast guy. We're going Tyreek Hill.
Interesting. That's funny because number 6, I had Tyreek Hill.
Did you?
I did.
Wow. Interesting. I mean, like I said with my theme, Amari Cooper had 33 touchdowns in 5 years. Keenan Allen had 34 and 6. Tyreek Hill has 36 total touchdowns in his career, which is 4 years. 4 years and then 36 total touchdowns. That's pretty impressive. He's been an All-Pro and a returner. Half his career he's been an All-Pro as a flex, a returner. He's just a weapon. He's arguably the best deep threat in the game. He's easily, I think, the fastest player in the game.
The cheetah.
Talk about if you want to talk a flip the switch challenge. Start the season like Tyreek Hill did. The whole scandal, and then gets hurt. Then end the season with the Super Bowl win. You know who's extremely jealous of Tyreek Hill? Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt's like, you know what? This dude fucked up just like I did, and he still got to hang on Patrick Mahomes' coattails to a Super Bowl.
He almost was out of the league for that whole thing with his kid.
I know, it's crazy.
I don't really remember what happened.
Talk about a
But yeah, I mean, 2018 he had almost 1,500 receiving yards on 87 catches, 12 touchdowns, but he was averaging 12 yards per catch or 17 yards per catch. Like, what?
Oh, it's nasty. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, he's a weapon. So where was that?
So I'm 5 because I had Tyreek Hill at 6.
What you got into the top 5?
So this is where it starts getting interesting because I think I know who your number 1 is. So, but number 5, I had OBJ.
Okay. I'll just say I don't even have OBJ in my top 10.
Ooh,
he's not done anything in a while.
Oh my God. I didn't even like him on the Giants, and I've become a fan of him since he's not, an enemy.
Listen, he's a talent, but what has he actually done?
Stop.
Has been terrible. He
So
hasn't been on a good team.
So you said last year he had a bad year, you would say, correct?
He didn't have a bad year. I correct myself. I'm looking back at his numbers. He didn't have a bad year.
No, but that's the thing.
Year, I should
that's
say.
The thing.
Disappointing year.
Disappointing, yes.
Yeah.
But everyone says, he had a really down year, really not out of character year. Out of character. He had 74 catches, 1,000 yards. Yeah, only 4 touchdowns. But any receiver who gets 1,000 yards and 70 catches in a season is not bad.
So here I counter argue with you because you just said those numbers. Amari Cooper, 79 receptions, 1,189 yards, and 8 touchdowns, much better than OBJ's number. Now, if you talk about consistency, Amari Cooper is the picture of consistency. He had 1 bad year out of 5. He's been to the playoffs. He did it on 2 different teams. OBJ hasn't done shit. His teams haven't won.
What?
The Giants have been terrible for most of his career, and the Browns haven't done anything.
He had Eli Manning. Dak Prescott's better than Eli Manning.
He had Eli Manning, who made him a superstar.
Dude, his rookie year, 1,300 yards. His second year, 1,400 yards. His third year, 1,300 yards. His fourth year, he was hurt. He played 4 games, had 300 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Then 1,000 yards. His last year with the Giants. 1,000 yards with Cleveland. Those first 3 years are crazy good.
So here,
and then he was hurt, and then he's on a new team with Baker Mayfield and a coach who didn't know how to play an offense.
You've been preaching about consistency, and
that is consistency.
You're talking about a guy who has 14, 15, and 16. He's a talented player. He's a top 10 wide receiver when he's got his whole thing going on. Other people have gotten better than him. I truly think that the days of when it was just Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, OBJ, everyone else, I think the wide receivers have gotten a lot better. The younger ones have really stepped up. So for him, he hasn't taken the step up like everyone else. If you compare him to Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, these kind of wide receivers. He's kind of fallen off. Everyone kept on getting better where he kind of took the dip.
Oh, I do not agree. You're telling me if
I
you
don't-
were handed fully healthy Odell Beckham Jr. and a fully healthy Amari Cooper, you would take Amari Cooper?
Yeah.
You're on crack.
Not in the top 10. He needs to get his shit together. I think that I do see him this year as a good year for him, a bounce back year. But right
Your
now,
whole
everyone
list is
kept on getting better.
not valid that you don't have OBJ in the top 10.
You know what? This is a little biased. I'm not gonna lie. I am a little biased about OBJ. But if you're comparing this year, I could easily think of 10 wide receivers that had a better year.
We're going into 2020. We're looking at who are the best receivers.
Yeah, so I think
OBJ is not one of the 10 best.
I feel more confident in Kenny Golladay and Chris Godwin having a better year next year than OBJ. Give Kenny Golladay a happy Matthew Stafford. Give Chris Godwin, another year in the stacked offense with Tom Brady now and Gronk joining the fold. They'll be okay.
So I just want to my last point on OBJ before I throw my computer at you. I just want to look at OBJ and Cooper side to side here.
Not excited.
So rookie years, OBJ 1,300 yards, Cooper 1,070 yards.
Okay.
Year after, we had OBJ 1,400 yards, Cooper 1,100 yards.
You're looking at only yards. What about touchdowns?
All right, touchdowns. Yep. Let's see. OBJ had 12 touchdowns.
Okay.
Cooper had 6.
Okay.
Then OBJ had 13. Cooper had 5.
Okay.
Then OBJ had 10. Then Cooper had 7.
Okay.
So he dropped off. Then he went 3, 6, and 4. Cooper went 7, 6, 1, 8. But if you look at year to year,
wait, 1? You didn't have 1.
Yeah. No, that was in Oakland. So 7, 7, 8.
Yeah.
He played in 4 games, had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. In the year he got hurt. Then the next year, played in 12 games, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. 12 games. What do you mean? Nah.
So I don't.
I just think you don't like him. I think that's what it is.
I just think that he was amazing the first 3 years, and the last 3 years he really hasn't done anything.
I wouldn't say
special.
I would agree that he's dropped off.
I agree that he was a top 3 wide receiver the first 3 years of his career. The last 3, it's outside of the top 10 for me. I just think that people are still high on his first 3 years in the league, and he's steadily declined since then.
I don't know if 1,000 yards is steadily declining, but
okay. They'll decline from what he was doing the first 3 years.
In a bad Cleveland year, he had almost 1,200 yards and 80 catches. So, no, that was Cooper. I just cut him down, but he still had over 1,000. So, I'm not.
Don't worry, no, his stats.
If he has another year
Cooper
like
had
that,
had better stats last year, every single category.
Who?
Cooper.
That was 1 year.
It was the most recent year.
So.
See, this is the OBJ problem. Is you're talking about OBJ from 2015?
No, I'm not.
I haven't seen him in 5 years.
Ever since he left, once he left the Giants, yes, that 1 year was not his best. He disappeared, and he was still but he was hurt. He had that toe problem or whatever it was, and he still had 1,000 yards. That's what I'm saying. If he does that again, though, if he has another year where it's 2 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, then yeah, I'll agree with you that he's not top 5 anymore. But until I see it happen regularly, then he's still top 5.
See, I like the top people, 10 people I have. He's right there. He's at 11.
Oh my God.
He's just not there for me.
Who's your 5? Just move on.
Keeping with the MVP winner and Super Bowl winning quarterback, I have Devontae Adams at number 5.
Okay, I respect that.
Devontae Adams is. I'm actually a little bit of a Devontae Adams fan.
I was gonna say I thought you were a fan. I'm surprised you didn't have him at 3 or something.
I have him at 5. The top 5 is really interchangeable, in my opinion. To be honest, they're very elite, and yeah, that includes Mike Evans, but we'll get to him. If you look at Devontae Adams, he's had 41 touchdowns, he's had 40 touchdowns in the last 5 years. That's pretty good. It's solid. 40? He's been the only guy.
Oh, yeah, 44 in his career. Damn. He's been in the league for –
he's still young. 6 years.
Really? I feel like he's only been a name for the past 3 years.
his half his seasons in the league, 3 out of his 6 years, he had double-digit touchdowns. It's pretty nice. 3 Pro Bowls. You know,
He's got like Packer numbers. Like they're like Packer receiver numbers. I feel like. You know
yeah.
what I
Well,
mean?
the only thing about he's the only guy there too.
That's
Is
not a
the
knock on him.
combination.
I'm just saying it's like
Yeah,
they
I
spread the
mean,
ball. Like Aaron Rodgers likes to spread the ball out a lot.
yeah, he would benefit from having some players across from him. This year he was a little banged up too. He's still, he had 997 yards and 83 receptions and 5 touchdowns, but he's banged up a little bit. Remember when he got hurt in the?
Yeah, he's not working with much besides Rodgers and the running back, but
I still think he's the lead option. I mean, go up to get it, you are depth to the catch, good hands, great route runner. I think he's great route running. But yeah, he was my superstar on my fantasy team when we won it all. Billy has herpes, 2018 championship.
Billy has herpes. So my 4 was Devontae Adams.
Okay.
For every reason that you said, he's a beast. I think he would definitely benefit if they had if Jordy Nelson was if they had a Jordy Nelson replica to put in there to run around the slot and stuff and free up something for Adams.
Honestly, for what they work with now, give them James Jones. That'll be a huge upgrade. I still don't understand their philosophy to just ignore the position together. They've been so good about developing wide receivers. If you look at their history, they've had a good history of wide receivers.
I think it could be that they like who they have. But they're not.
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at their roster. They're not really that. They have a couple guys they drafted in the past few years, but they're not.
You got to think these guys they're doing very mediocre Scantlin and whatever that Quamis guy is and all that. But you got to think you're playing across from a top 5 wide receiver and you have a top 5 quarterback throwing you the ball. So this should be a little easier for you. Going to number 4 though, and sticking with my, MVP winning and Super Bowl winning quarterback next year. Going with your boy Mike Evans. And now I'm about to baptize you with some knowledge.
I like Mike Evans, but I don't think he's top 3.
He's a 6-year vet. He's been over 1,000 yards every year of his career. His career high is 1,500 yards. He had 4 years of 8+ touchdowns. That's just monstrous. That's incredible.
I'll say I did not know his numbers were that crazy.
He's the epitome of consistent. He doesn't have a great quarterback throwing the ball. Godwin's there now, but before that, who else was he playing with? And, it's not like that offense was always just humming on it. I think Arians improved it a lot, but even Mike Evans, when he came out of the draft with Johnny Manziel, I thought that Mike Evans was 80% of the reason Johnny Manziel was good. Because if you looked at some of the ball, Manziel would do his magic and run around, but then he just chucked the ball downfield, and Mike Evans jumped over 3 guys and got the ball.
I hated Manziel.
He was my favorite guy coming out of that draft. I've liked him. He was an idiot that one time with Marshawn Lattimore. That was a pretty dirt cheap shot, but other than that, he's been the epitome of consistent. I think he's a stud. He doesn't have bad years.
No, I don't know if I put him at that high, but I'm not going to argue with you because I think
he's 6 years.
Yeah, no,
1,000 yards.
I think the numbers are good. The only like I said, the only reason I kind of had him backed up is just because he does drop quite a few balls but he's the right size. I feel like too. He's quick enough. He's strong.
Yeah, but he's a big body.
Good hands.
A great deep throw.
Perfect, but
67 receptions, 1,157 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. That's very good.
He had 2018. He had 1,500 yards, 86 catches. He was averaging almost 18 yards a catch.
And then 2016, he had 12 touchdowns. The guy has been the epitome of successful, or just consistency.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Was that 4 or 3?
4.
Okay, 4. I could bump him up to 6 or 5. I feel like him and Keenan Allen are always kind of
See, this is the problem.
In the same discussion, though. You know what I mean?
This comes back to the OBJ thing. Just a little last I mentioned it, but you have him over Mike Evans, which is just insulting. Mike Evans has been. His numbers are just as good as OBJ's, and he's done long and he's consistent. You go find his best years, they match up just as good. But he's been doing it for 6 years, not 3. But as we digress, Who did you had Devontae Adams before?
No, we're not going to digress. Hold on a second.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, so Mike Evans has played 90 games, has over 7,000 yards.
So here, hold on, ready? I got something for you.
Okay.
So OBJ and Mike Evans in the last 5 years, and I'm actually going to come back to this stat in a little bit, so it'll be good to refresh you. In the last 5 years, OBJ and Mike Evans both have 36 touchdowns.
Okay.
But the thing is, Mike Evans had 1,000 yards every year of his career. His career high, the 1,500 yards, I think is higher than anything OBJ has put up.
OBJ had 1,450, so yeah.
No, he has
He also
they
had
tied
13
on
touchdowns to Mike Evans' 8, but
yeah, I know, but they also had the same amount of touchdowns the last 5 years. So relax there, guy. So then you look at his yards and how they're much better. You could say Eli all you want, but don't act like Jameis Winston is his elite option. It's hard to rack up yards and touchdowns when the guy's throwing an interception every other series.
I mean, it's hard to get yards when he's just chucking it 50 yards deep every play.
Yeah, I know, but
It's like, oh, here's another 50-yard bomb. Thanks.
You got to factor in OBJ had a couple years where they sucked and they would just have a lot of garbage time receptions. But I'll leave Mike Evans alone.
I mean, look, I don't really disagree with you. I really like Mike Evans. I don't know what it is. I think his numbers are really good, but he just doesn't I don't look at him and be like, oh yeah, he's top 4 receiver in the league right now. I don't know. I just don't see it for some reason.
I think you're foolish. I think that's what it really comes down to.
He has 15 more games than OBJ.
Yeah.
And they both have 48 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying. What are you not understanding?
I don't know what you're looking at here.
Career, 75 games, 6,511 yards.
Oh, okay. I know. I
48 touchdowns.
All right, so I apologize. So like I said, they've both been in the league for 6 years. I said the last 5 years. The stat I gave you was the last 5 years. But again, goes back to my point. Odell Beckham Jr. has really not done much in the last 3 years. The first 3 years of his career, again, were amazing. The last 3, not so much.
You think 1,000 yards is not doing much, and then 1 year being hurt and having almost 100 yards a game.
Mike Evans won over 1,000 yards every year of his career, but we digress. Number 3, who do you got?
So this is where I think we've already been fighting, so this is going to get even more interesting. But I think we have the same number 3.
I would hope so.
Number 3, I had Kyler Murray's new weapon, DeAndre Hopkins.
I also have DeAndre Hopkins.
I feel like I don't want to say he's dropped off, but 2 years ago, I would have been like, boom, DeAndre Hopkins, number 1 receiver in the league.
Yeah. My, you look at DeAndre Hopkins, career numbers, they're just amazing.
Crazy. Yeah.
It baffles me, truly baffles me that Bill O'Brien traded him for what he did.
Mike Evans, but better.
The guy's a stud, but here, okay.
Yeah, I don't understand that trade at all.
So going back to our stat, the last 5 years. So that we're talking the last 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. You know who has the most receiving touchdowns in the last 5 seasons?
Oh, he has 54, so probably him.
No, last 5 seasons.
Oh,
so he's got 46.
So he's got 46. Yeah.
Antonio Brown magically has 47 in the last 5 years. So even though he only had 1 last year, still is number 1, which is astronomical, which is amazing. But DeAndre Hopkins is the second most touchdowns the last 5 years, 46. The guy he's played 110 out of 112 games. He's always durable. He's there all the time. He's never hurt. The lowest yards he's ever had was 800, and that was his rookie year. Non-rookie, 950. He's had 3 of his 7 seasons with double-digit touchdowns. The guy has had over, over 100 receptions a game 3 out of his 7 years. He's just there. He's an absolute weapon. Bill O'Brien's an idiot. I can't believe he traded him away for 3rd and 5th. The guy's just the picture of durability. Doesn't drop anything. He's constantly open.
You just look at I had Stephon Diggs at 9. You didn't even have him in your list, and the Bills had to give up a first.
And I don't even blame him for that. I think that's fine because I still let them move.
But that's what I'm saying. So what is DeAndre? How is DeAndre Hopkins not worth it?
Fleeced. Bill O'Brien is dude, did you see the other thing? It was he makes that trade, and then Laramie Tunsil without an agent. This guy doesn't even have an agent.
Yep.
Signs the record-setting tackle extension in the NFL history. Lane Johnson had the most per year at 18. Laremy Tunsil's extension is $22 million a year, and he did this without an agent. He negotiated with Bill O'Brien and without an agent. When do you ever hear good contracts being negotiated without an agent? It's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
He was, let's see, Hopkins was drafted 27th overall in the first round, 2013 out of Clemson. And, yeah, ever since he's just been – I would say the only – it's not even – like I'm not even going to say that's a downside because it's not. But when you look at his, yards per catch, they're, like, not super high for, like a top 5, like, statistical receiver because they're, like, 13, 14. But, like, that's still really good. So, like, I'm not going to – like, that 1 year, like, OBJ and Mike Evans each had, like, 17 or whatever we were just talking about. Like, that's good. Or Tyreek Hill, whoever it was.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, like 14 and 13 still consistent.
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is just – that's the thing. You said he's had a quiet year. He had 7 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. And
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's –
he's just the
casual.
He's just the most consistent wide receiver. And what I mean consistent is he's consistently an all-pro level wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Never hurt. He's a true number one. Guy's a superstar. I really think he's gonna have a big year with Kyler Murray too.
I mean, I think Kyler Murray's gonna have a great year now.
You know what the biggest thing is that they have their offensive line is starting to become like actual decent. They just drafted Tristan Wirfs. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. All right, number 2.
Well, I just want to say, just imagine you're Kyler Murray and you get told that this year you're going to be thrown to Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins. Like,
not bad. And our first round pick was on an offense tackle.
Also, shout out to Larry Fitzgerald. We love you, but we just couldn't put you in our top 10.
Yeah, I didn't put him on my top 10.
He'll be a Hall of Famer, but
he is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, easy. All right, so I know who your number 2 is, but you can tell me who it is.
Really?
You're gonna say Julio Jones, so just say it.
I'd go either one with them. I could switch them either order, but I did put Jones at number 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm guessing you went with Thomas?
So, yeah, number 2, I had Mike Thomas.
Fair. I mean, like I said, they're interchangeable. They're both superstars.
So I guess we should just say what our ones were at this point.
I mean, I would hope it's Julio Jones for you.
So, yeah, you have Mike Thomas at 1. I have Julio Jones at 1. Let's talk Jones first, I guess.
Well, I mean, with Julio Jones, the thing is, I put him at number 2, but
yeah. So why'd you put him at 2?
It's not out of disrespect. Like, I was looking at Julio Jones' number, and I was like, it's not like you don't even look at his season numbers. You should look at how his rankings are compared to like all time, or like active players at least. Yeah, he's 3rd active in yards in his career. He's the 9th active player with tons of screens, the 4th active player in receptions. And the guy's only, he's still young. He's only 31. Numbers.
I wouldn't say that's young, but he's going to play for a couple more years. Definitely,
he's going to pad those stats, is what I mean. I'm not saying he's not like 34 and going out there. But even if you look at his numbers last year, he had 99 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's not slowing down. That's what I mean. What I mean by when I say he's not old. But I mean, the guy's a superstar. The real reason I went with Mike Thomas over him is just I think he's hotter right now. I think right now he's just better. Mike Thomas, the last 2 years, has had more receptions in a 2-year span than anyone else in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing. He had what did he have? 1,700 yards last year.
Wait a minute, hold on, Cat, get out of here. He had that can't be correct.
It is correct.
Mike Thomas had 149 receptions.
Exactly, he set the record.
Yeah, but wasn't the record like in the 130 something or 141 or something?
Yeah, no, he beat it by a lot. He beat it by like 6 receptions or 8 receptions.
49 receptions.
Dude, he had over 1,700 yards.
What was so Zach Ertz beat the tight end record at 116. Yeah. And he beat it. Cat, come on, man. We're doing this video. and Thomas had 149. Ooh, I knew it was high, but I didn't realize it was almost.
That's what I said. That's why I think it's funny. Christian McCaffrey and Zach Ertz are tied with the reception records. They tied for the non-wide receiver record.
I mean, that just goes to show where like the NFL is trending. That we had the running back catch record, tight end catches, and receiver
Yeah.
catches all broken in the past 3 years.
See, no, the other reason I kind of went with Thomas over Jones is you can't ignore the fact that he set the record with receptions in the year, 149, which is just disgusting.
I respect
Had over
that.
1,700 yards and 9 touchdowns, and he did that with 2 different quarterbacks. Because you think Drew Brees missed majority of that year. Teddy Bridgewater isn't a bad quarterback, but
Did
he's
he
not
miss
Drew Brees.
that one? I don't think he missed that many games.
Yeah, he broke his thumb.
No, I don't think Drew Brees missed. He missed like 4 games.
I think you're foolish. You need to come with better stats when you challenge me next time.
Drew Brees played in 11 games last year. So, yeah, he missed 5 games. Teddy Bridgewater's not a slouch. He just got a good contract to go be a starter for the Panthers. So
yeah, I know. But when you're setting a record for receptions, you would think that you're doing it with one quarterback.
I mean, it helps that they threw to him 185 times. But if I was building a wide receiver, I wanted to look like Julio Jones. Like, he's just like speed. He's got great hands, route running. He can even block. Like, I've seen him. Yeah. He can tackle. Have you seen him like tackle down people who intercept the ball?
Yeah,
like, he's just an athlete.
Unless he's playing for, Jameis Winston. That's not really a desirable trait.
So Mike Thomas, rookie year, 1,100 yards, very good. Second year, 1,200 yards, very good. 2018, 1,400 yards, very good. And then last year, 1,700. Amazing.
Keeps getting better.
Julio had 900 his rookie year. Respectable. 1,200 his second year. His third year, he played in 5 games and had 580 yards.
Okay.
I'll take that. And then we got to get to the magical year. He had 2015, he had 136 catches, 1,871 yards. And ever since then, it's been 1,400, 1,400, 1,600, almost 1,400 again.
I mean, he's amazing.
Like, that's what if Thomas puts up these numbers, then yeah, I'll say either or is number one. But I think Julio has just unquestionably been the best wide receiver in the league for the past five years, I'd say.
But yeah, I mean, well, one thing, did you know that Michael Thomas was the number 1 fantasy wide receiver last year in standard scoring?
I'm not surprised. He had a
Julio
good year.
Jones was
especially 5. PPR.
No, this was standard scoring.
No, I mean, Julio, for his standards, this year was a little down. But I mean,
you know what's even more impressive is that number 2 and number 3 in the fantasy rankings last year in points were in my top 10. They were number 9 and 10. Goodwin was number 2, and Galladay was number 3.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. Like, I like Godwin and Galladay. I think they're on the rise. It's just because they are so fresh. I didn't necessarily feel comfortable ranking them higher than they were.
So my final thought on the Julio Jones, Michael Thomas thing is basically the way I look at it is, like, every once in a while there's like the changing of the guard as the number 1 elite top wide receiver. And I think, honestly, after what Michael Thomas did last year, I think we just had one with Julio Jones to Michael Thomas. I was curious. So I looked at the last 4, top wide receivers in the last, 10 years pretty much. So, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Michael Thomas, and Calvin Johnson. And I put their best 2-year spread. So, 2 years back-to-back, their best in their career. They're all very, very, very similar. They're all freaking amazing. So, you would assume they would be close. But, if you're talking about touchdown 2-year spans, you have Michael Thomas is 18. Julio Jones had 14, but we know he's not much of a touchdown guy. Antonio Brown had a ridiculous 23 and a 2-year span.
Yeah, Julio doesn't get I don't know what his thing is, but
Megatron had 21, but they're all right there. If you're looking at yards in their 2-year spans, Julio had 3,400 and Antonio Brown had 3,500, which is nice. Calvin Johnson had 3,600, which is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, Michael Thomas is right there with 3,100. Obviously, I told you Michael Thomas has the most receptions in a 2-year span, so he obviously had more receptions than those 3. But if you look at those 2 best years back-to-back for those elite wide receivers, he's right there with them. He's not as good, but you also think I'm expecting a big year from him this year. He's still young. He's getting better. I think he's kind of took the pedestal from Julio, who, is obviously not the
We'll see. I don't think Julio is going to be putting up 1,600 yard seasons anymore.
No, but I think Michael Thomas could. I think Michael Thomas will.
The only thing I would say is if you look at their yardage, it's kind of similar for their trajectory. So Julio's second year, he had 1,200 yards. Like, then he was hurt the year after that, so we'll just cancel that. But the year after that, he had 1,500, and then he had 1,800. And then Thomas had 1,200, 1,400, 1,700. So it's like a similar trajectory. But it's hard to, like, keep that number that high. Like, he's not – I can't – if he has 140-plus receptions again, like –
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't believe it.
That'd be insane.
I don't know if he'll ever eclipse that 1,700 yards. I think he'll get close a couple of years, but –
he could.
I think he'll be a steady, like, 1,400-yard receiver. You know what I mean?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Julio was. So that's why they're 1 and 2.
I mean, we'll see. I still think he's getting better, to be honest with you. Third year in the league.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know how much more he's already incredible. I don't know how much more better
that's why I said I think it's changing the guard. Now he's getting into the Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown territory.
I just think it's funny that you have Kittle and Thomas as your number ones, and then you're like, oh, no, but they're getting better.
I mean, they are getting
better. If they're already the best of their position.
That's what's scary.
Well,
I mean, I think Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson were probably the best at their position while they were still getting better.
Oh, yeah. I think I think if you said, like, I mean, like you said, the guard has changed because it used to be like Julio, Hopkins, and Brown.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
And now it's more like Thomas, Julio, Evans, Adams.
Hopkins is still there. The only ones that aren't there anymore are Odell and Antonio Brown.
I think Odell could still be that. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's going to be a top 3 receiver again. But he's got so much talent. I just hope it doesn't get wasted.
Yeah, we'll see. The same thing about Antonio Brown.
Out of curiosity, Antonio Brown, where would he have been on this list? If this was like him getting traded from Steelers to Oakland, and like that's what we were dealing with. He wasn't.
Well, I mean, Steelers to Oakland. I don't know, like top 2, 3.
Right? He's easily top 3.
I mean, he's still a stud.
Hopefully the bed bugs don't bite you because they're OBJ fans. So.
Yeah, go educate yourself on Mike Evans.
I was educated. I do feel like he belongs higher than what I have him at 7 or 8.
Yeah,
that's a little disrespectful now. I'll admit that.
That's just what I do. I'm such a nice person. I educate you. It's like I'm helping the uneducated.
I would believe your list more if Odell Beckham Jr. was on it. Probably would take Amari Cooper's spot.
No, well, I mean, he would bump Godwin or Galladay out.
Yeah, I could see him at 7. If you said 7, I would be like, okay, that's fair. But not to have him on the list.
So who did you have? Who didn't you have on my list? You didn't have Galladay, and you didn't have.
I like Galladay. I just think because it was like, I don't know. I go back and forth on the whole.
You didn't have Amari Cooper. That's what it was.
Well, I didn't have Cooper, and I didn't have Galladay.
Yeah.
But we had Godwin the same, and Tyreek Hill the same, and then our like top 3 were basically the same.
Yeah.
It was just the Evans OBJ thing, and then I had Adams at 5. You had Adams at 5. I had Adams at 4.
Yeah.
So it was really the back end that was debatable.
Yeah.
But well, this was heated. I like that though.
You're
Has a little flavor.
Foolish. That's why.
A little seasoning
foolish.
to the
Jesus.
discussion.